Okay, so let's start some stretching. So we're going to start with something called a simple seated hamstring stretch. This is what you will probably all do when you're at home, but that lots of people do wrong, or don't use the best technique, should I say. Again, you can fold your mat under you to lift your bottom up so your hips are a little bit higher than your knees. Particularly if you get pain on the inside of the knee, I would really recommend that. It really does help. So seated with the feet about hip width apart, this is the stretch we're going to do. Okay, so I'm reaching up into the air first so that I lengthen up through my back before I lay forward, because what I don't want is this. This is stretching my mid-upper back. It's not touching my hamstrings, I can't feel it at all. So keep the backs of your legs glued to the ground. Try and think long through your torso. And don't worry about how flat to your legs you get. That's not what this stretch is about. This stretch is about lengthening and not about you getting your chest down to your legs. So take a breath in. Breathe out. So we're going to stay here for about 30 seconds. You can do 30 seconds, break 30 seconds if you want. And halfway through, I'm just going to try and breathe in, lift my navel and see if I can come a little lower. And I'm going to come out of that by uncurling and rolling my shoulders back. Okay, your next stretch is called a hurdler. We do this in class. You're going to tuck the sole of one foot onto the thigh. Try and keep your torso as straight as you can. And then we're going to do the same stretch up and lean down over this leg. Remember, if you have a hip that makes it very uncomfortable for you to do this, you can just sit that hip out at an angle that works for you. All you'll miss is the stretch on the glute of that leg. So you should be fine. It's not going to cause too much of a problem. So sit comfortably as I can, because this is my comfortable side, and then you're going to breathe in, breathe out, lengthen through the spine, and hold that position. Push down with this leg to keep you balanced. Try and keep looking forward. And slowly come out of that position. And we're going to do the other side. Breath in. When you're sitting here, try and actually think about what you're doing. So rather than thinking, oh God, I'm so unflexible and I'm so not low enough, think about where your discomfort is. And as you breathe out, try and relax, relax, relax that part. And gently come out. Good, now come up to your feet. So we've done this one in class as well. Some of you will find this more effective than others. I like this because it gets my calves as well, and that's the bit that I tend to struggle with. So, standing Feet underneath your hip bones to start with, nice and tall. Think about tucking your tailbone under, lifting up through the navel. You're going to cross one foot in front of the other and try and bring them as side by side as you can, so one is miles in front of the other one. Straighten the back leg, the most important thing. Do not bend, do not bend, do not bend. Breathe in. Fold forwards, down towards the floor. Keep that back leg straight and try and press this front leg towards your back leg. Make sure you're not pushing backwards. Keep the weight as central as you can. And think about getting your chest closer to your thighs so you can walk your hands closer to you and keep your head down as that extra weight. And then moving the fingertips forward. I'm going to step out of that. Uncurl. I'm going to step the other foot in front. If you're finding it uncomfortable, please just walk the hands away rather than coming out of the stretch completely. And then you're going to uncurl and roll the shoulders back and step apart. Okay? All right, now the equipment challenge. So this is a very similar stretch to the one that we've just done. I'm going to get my item that lifts my heel away from the floor. I'm going to place it on the floor in front of me. Okay, I'm going to rest my heel on that pan or book or whatever it is that you're using to prop your foot up. I'm going to take this foot slightly to the side so that I'm balanced, so they're side by side and not one in front of the other. And then I'm going to reach forward and down. So I've got to keep both legs straight and I'm reaching forward and down over that front leg. Getting my chest closer and closer. Having the arms extended really helps. That's putting extra weight through it, so that's putting a little bit more tension into it. If you're struggling, I would bring your arms back up here because that takes a little bit of the pressure off. And I'm going to uncurl. Change feet. So heel in front. Uncurl, bending my back leg and step out. All right, your final exercise. Okay, so we're seated for your last exercise and we're going to use this bad boy. So if you're using a tea towel, two opposite corners so that it's the longest it can comfortably be. And you're going to sit with your feet hip width apart, thighs glued to the floor, nice straight spine and your navel drawn in. You're going to put the towel around the sole of your foot and you're going to flex that foot. And whilst keeping this leg glued to the ground and my toweled foot straight in the leg, I'm going to raise and push my heel forwards. If I pull myself slightly closer to my leg, I instantly get that hit in my hamstring. So if it's uncomfortable, lean back. If you feel like you can get a bit flexy, you can lean a little bit closer. Don't lift it too high. And if you start to feel pretty comfortable, you can slide the rag up a little higher so there's a little bit more flexion in that foot. Keep the back straight. If you feel like it's getting really easy, you may have rounded your back. So make sure that back stays straight. And gently release to the floor. Slide that off. I'm going to try the other foot. So get used to the sensation for the first 5 to 10 seconds. Lift up through that navel. And then see if you can pull yourself just slightly closer to the foot. And gently replace. Slide the towel out. Give your feet a few circles. And we're ready to get started. Go and get your heels on.